Now tell me if this sounds familiar. You're walking in a sawmill, first or second woods raid of the day, chowing down on your Tachanka, then BAM! 4 SCD shots in quick succession, narrowly miss your head. You have no idea what to do, so you run into the nearest building, sawmill. You cower. Suddenly you hear 2 sets of footsteps closing in fast. You go to quick peek in the hopes that it's the boss. BAM! With not even a second to peek, Shturman cross-maps you with his SVD, and you quickly hover over the Alt F4 keys. How can I even kill this guy? Well, I'm going to show you more than just how to kill him. After today's guide, the Woods boss is going to become your personal Woods bitch. Now how does this help me, you might ask? Shturman is required for a few tasks, 2 of which you need to complete in order to obtain Kappa, the endgame container. Those 2 quests are Huntsman Path Woodskeeper and Hunting Trip. We're going to focus on these 2 today. If you're interested, you can find more details about the tasks in the description down below, as well as links to the Tarkov wiki. And with the right method and knowledge, you too can turn this OP boss into something surprisingly easy to farm. Now let's start with the basics, weapons. There are 8 weapons I recommend you to use when farming this boss. Since he has no armor and his guards are typically easy to finesse and headshot, we're going to go with high flesh, medium pen weapon platforms. Here are the weapons. Number 1, the Budget Blaster. The Keltec RFB with TCP SP, a level 1 Jaeger round with incredible stats for its price, or M80, another great round locked behind Peacekeeper 3. This gun can be cheaply built for around 80k if you run the 2x on a stock build, or around 190k if you want to go balls to the walls with a full meta build. If you can purchase it from traders, definitely cop the 30 round foul mag since it gives you 10 extra rounds to work with. Remember, reloads mid-fight leave you extremely vulnerable and are infuriating to die to. Number 2, mid-tier meta. The next weapon would be the AK-103 with 7.62x39 PS or BP, since these rounds are pretty high flesh and a very good pen. For the budget build on screen, it'll cost you somewhere around 130k, with the butt pad purchasable from Prepper level 2, and the muzzle device purchasable from Skier level 2. As for the meta build, this is hands down one of my favorite weapons in Tarkov as it only costs about 220k, and feels surprisingly good on full auto, especially hipfire. For either of these weapons, BP and PS can be used interchangeably since both rounds work identically against the boss and his guards. Number 3, meta weapons. As for the other weapons to use, this is a bit vague, but try to stick with guns that utilize 7.62x39 or 308, such as the M1A, the SR25, the RSAS, the RD704, the Mutant, or my personal favorite, the 7.62 MDR, all preferably decked out, since these weapons typically don't feel very good with lower tier modifications. A few build examples are being shown on screen right now, or can be found in my Discord, linked in the description. I imagine most of you will have level 2 or 3 triggers though, which should suffice in getting you weapons close to what I've shown here. Creative freedom. And side note, keep in mind that M80 and M62 will one-tap Shturman in the head, while BP and PS will require 2. Now that we've kitted up, it's time to learn about Shturman himself. For starters, at the time of this video, Shturman has a 20% chance to spawn, and will typically spawn between the sawmill and the 3 worker shacks across from it. Spawns are pretty unimportant though, since we'll be figuring out where he's at using nades and audio cues. I'll show this in the walkthrough. Shturman also only has 2 guards who will typically sport an SKS, a Hunter, or an SVD, and rarely have any armor better than Class 5, Class 6 being very rare. Shturman also has a chance to spawn with the expensive Red Rebel Ice Pick, and he and his guards have a chance to spawn with colored labs cards in their bags as well. As for some general tips when fighting him, be sure to aggro Shturman and his guards by throwing grenades or flashbangs to get them to move from where they're hunkered down. We'll do this in the walkthrough. Throwing flashbangs and grenades can also help by giving you audio cues as to where they are, since they will react vocally to the ordnance. Additionally, be sure to abuse the hell out of right peeks, since AI will almost never react to you if you slow peek angles. But Yemen, how do I even know if Shturman is there? Well, typically, he'll announce his presence from a distance, 4 bullets at a time with a characteristically unnatural sounding SVD spray. If you don't hear any gunshots, or get a close spawn to the mill, I'll walk you through visually in the next video parts labeled Outskirts or UN-Exfil. Lastly, back to the grenades tip, be sure to bring more flashbangs than you need. If you feel like you have enough, bring 4 more. Nothing is worse than being stuck behind cover with Shturman holding a death angle on you, and nothing to blind or scare him away. Alright, enough with the info dump. we should be ready to hop into raid now. In this part, I'm going to show you how I take Shturman while spawning on the outskirts or west side of Sawmill. Specific spawns do not matter. For this, I'm going to use the RFB with low visibility weather to show a worst case farming scenario. Now let's hop into the gameplay. So we've spawned outskirts. We are headed over with an RFB compact 2x, budget build, nothing on the gun, literally nothing. Just a 30 round mag of M80, 2 extra mags in the rig, and a compact 2x. And here we're headed towards Duffel Bag Rock. You'll see that a lot in the 2 walkthroughs that we do here. Duffel Bag Rock is basically your initiation point. You never want to take it from the other side of the map, even if you get a factory gate spawn. So we nade for a little bit of info. We don't get anything because it's a little early. Probably going to toss another one here. Oh, there we go. Going to toss that. We're going to get 2 aggros. There we go. He freaks out. It's probably Shturman or a guard. So we take a left hand here. Just trying to get some free info. Maybe a quick aggro just so I know exactly where they're at. We get nothing. We check the bush here for a guard. They'll push up sometimes. And here we do the right thing. We decide to push Sawmill. However, we take it a little too close for comfort. So I'd recommend you go around the mound to our left and then head to the back of Sawmill and hold it like we are about to do. We get shot at by what's probably a suppressed Mosin, one of the guards. So we're gonna sit back here for a second. I hear some audio. One of the guards pushing us. This is very risky as well, but we kill him. And there's another guard. It's 1 out of 2 down. We killed this one as well. Remember, M80, M62, it's going to 2-tap thorax or 1-tap head. Very good for the Shturman guards and Shturman himself. Here we're going to throw a flashbang for the audio. Don't believe I get any audio, so I risky peek it. Remember, right hands are pretty safe. Try to get some info here too. Another flashbang. You're going to see a lot of flashbangs this raid. Checking up there. Shturman will sometimes run up to the wood pile up there I was looking at. Typically he sits by the SUV or the 3 worker shacks that are across from me. In this general area, he'll kind of sit by one of the vehicles or a wood pile. There we hear him. At this point we know he's just sitting at a little left of that electrical box that we can see there. Throw another flashbang. Never over peek Shturman. Will 2-tap you instantly. Now we choose to play a little more aggro, which is definitely what you need to do. Pushing Shturman just gives you an advantage. He's very good at long range, very bad at close range. So we're going to throw, I think this is our last flashbang. Get a little cocky. Shturman is backed off to the 3 worker shacks, which is perfect. He'll do that a lot. Probably minorly flashed. Really risky left hand. Don't do left hands. Again, just using cover. We have a scav to our right. This could have been bad, but we're good. M80. Shturman is now reacting to another scav. He's shooting at a scav, which is perfect. You'll hear that a lot. So he's at the wood pile that I was talking about earlier. He'll either sit on the left or the right side. You'll hear a shuffle here in a second. So we know he's there. Get a little cheeky angle. Right through the wood, and that's Shturman. At this point, we're celebrating. It's pretty strong. You get that key. It's in his pockets always. For Huntsman path, you're going to need the key and a Shturman kill. So get out with that key. Don't even bother looting the guards. Just get out with that. So we've just spawned in. We have UN-Exfil side. We're going to pop our SJ6. We have the RFB with 3 30s of M80. We have 8 flashbangs. Armor doesn't really matter. It's just there to protect you from normal scavs and players. And we have the attack 2, which sadly weighs us down a bit, which I'm not too worried about. Keep in mind, this rock is super important. It allows you to get some info. Sadly, the weather is a little terrible for this. A little too bad. So we try to get some info. I can't see anything, so we just move on from here. We're going to clear for the spawn over by that warehouse, and there's also a potential spawn or aggro spawn. It's where they aggro over to Violet Shack. if a player spawns in front of us here. Luckily, no Shturman. Usually you can just assume that Shturman isn't here. If he's there, he's almost always at the 3 worker shacks or the sawmill. We're just going to throw these willy-nilly. I'd honestly recommend you bring more than 8 flashbangs. You'll see we actually run out of flashbangs when we need it most. Just bring like 10, 12. They're pretty cheap. We're just going to use cover. Run up to this wood pile. It's pretty safe. Some frame drops there. Just looking for Shturman, looking for anything here. Throw another flashbang, get some info. This one's actually going to give us a lot of info. One on our left, one at the wood piles to our right. From my experience, this is where we kill Shturman. Shturman's just chilling in the middle as he usually does. Perfect. Shturman gone already, so that would be a task done. At least half complete. This is another guard. Again, guards and Shturman are pretty pretty brainless actually when they aggro and run. They're only dangerous when they sit still, just like raiders. So now we only need one more guard. So I'm searching desperately for this guy. Keep in mind, even in an online raid, most of the opponents that you're going to face are going to be Timmies. We're throwing flashbangs willy-nilly. Probably should have kept them a little more or brought more. Been a little more conscious with the nade throwing, because we run out here. That's a Mosin scav, so we're really lucky that he's got a Mosin, not an SKS or an SVD. But yeah, back to the players. Typically players are lower level, like they're lower levels, they're noobs, so it might take them 6, 7, 8, even 10 minutes to get to Sawmill. So at this point I wouldn't worry too much about other players, but you're gonna see here, you have to worry about the scavs. Just trying to get any info, because the visibility is really fucking us over here. Checking the shacks. Guards will... Typically when the boss dies, the guards just go do their own thing. They basically act like normal scavs. It's only when Shturman's dead there. Checking just in case he re-rotated. If he had, we'd probably be dead. So at this point, I'm pretty sure he's up to our left here. He aggro's on us, so that confirms it. We're going to slow right-hand peek it. We're going to slow right-hand again and kill him. Now, just like I'm basically role-playing as if I was doing the Huntsman path task, you need to do this. Just hop on the body, loot the body, and get to extract, right? You have enough XP to leave without a run-through. You need the key, you just get out. Now, if you're doing hunting trip, it's going to be a lot different. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that next. So, hunting trip. My favorite task in Escape from Tarkov. 50-meter kill on Shturman with an M700. With a March tactical scope. Arguably the worst scope in the game. It's a full zoom optic. It doesn't have any 1x or 1.5x capabilities like the Voodoo or basically any other scope. So yeah, that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to show you guys how to do it efficiently, or at least walk you through what I do. This is sort of how I did mine this wipe. It took about 4 hours to complete this wipe. I typically post up on Sniper Rock. I know there are plenty of different names for this rock, but this is Sniper Rock to me. And we post up on Sniper Rock. It's not ideal because players can shoot you, but you can get some initial information like we have here. That is one Shturman guard down. It's really good for knocking out the guards. Potentially Shturman, but Shturman likes to hang close to the sawmill, so it's pretty hard to see through the foliage there, as you can see. He's probably hanging out there, I just can't see him. But from here, holding that position is really going to do us no good. So we cycle to the left. We're going to try to get another angle past the foliage. Also, we are using the voodoo on the guards because we don't need to kill the guards with the March Tactical. Just makes it's logical. However, if we were to see Shturman, we would switch over to the March Tactical immediately. You're basically using the voodoo as your 1x, right? Your spotting weapon, because you'll see the scope in a second. The March Tactical is horrible. It's so bad. It's definitely worth the investment. You can also put the scope up your ass, so if you don't want to lose out on 50, 60k, you can just put the voodoo or the vortex, whatever you're into your container. So yeah, we're gonna rotate here. We've killed the 2 guards, so we don't have to worry about them pushing us, which is perfect. That's the main fear when you're running a sniper or any bolty. We're gonna get some info. We're just checking Sawmill because we know he's spawned Sawmill. I'm sure at this point that he's aggroed and his guards are dead, so he's going to be wandering about. Also, if any scavs wander in, he's going to start shooting at them, so he aggroes on literally everything. Skips forward a little bit here. He's now shooting at a scav. It's wandered into the Sawmill, which is perfect for us because we now know whereabouts he's at. Just checking all of his spawns. He loves to sit by wood piles, left or right. He doesn't really sit behind them, per se. He'll sit on where the wood's exposed for the logs, like right here in front of me. He loves to sit by these. So we're just checking every notable location. Unfortunately for me, he's not by any of the wood piles this raid, you'll see. Pretty unfortunate, but we do manage to scrape by. Right now we're basically trying to get him to bait us, or to aggro on us. We're serving as bait for ourselves. Also, huge tip while we look here for a minute. If you can do this with a teammate, do this with a teammate. Have them aggro or kill the scav guards. Have your teammate kill them. The more the merrier, honestly. Less PMCs on the map. But you're basically doing this task against the clock because you can't spend 10-15 minutes. Otherwise, you're just increasing your chances of a fellow PMC coming in and sealing the kill or killing you. Kill that scav. At this point, we know he's at that big red warehouse in front of us. So we're just going to sit here until he aggroes on us, which he does. Perfect. So at this point, the audio sounds like it's a bit behind warehouse. So I get pretty cocky here. I'm like, I can take the shot, but you'll see the scope. Kind of forgotten how bad the scope is. Literally, it's a microscope. You could zoom in on somebody's hair follicles from a mile away. And no, there was no less zoom. So we switch back. Learned my lesson there. Just double checking everything. At this point, I know he's by Duffel Bag Rock by that yellow forklift. That aggro right there, those shots definitely confirm it because we peeked it. So now I'm sure I can find him with the March Tactical. We're gonna play it really slow. Do some Alt D action, Alt A. That's slow peek for anybody that doesn't know. Thought he was more on the left here. Then I see a gun swivel right in front of us. We'll zoom in on this so that you guys can see. And we take the shot and we kill him. Pretty good. That was definitely overkill for 50 meters. I think it comes out, I'll probably have a thing on screen here in a second. I'm pretty sure it was like 137, 135 meters. Really unnecessary. You're not going for a shooter born on Shturman, but this is the safest way for me to do it. You can start to see the blood splatter from here, which is kind of strong. So he is dead confirmed. Let's heckin' go. At this point, you can just loot your guards and whatnot. You don't need any keys, so just leave with the loot. You're good. There we go. 137 meters. Hey, good. So that about does it for my first guide. I know this wasn't necessarily a guide for every possible spawn for Shturman and his guards, or how to take him from X spot and with a specific gun, but I guess it serves as a sort of walk through my head, right? How I take specific fights and situations, turn them into a W for me. So anyways, I hope you guys learned something today, and if you did, be sure to leave a like or a comment, and let me know what knowledge you obtained. As per usual, have an incredible wipe, and please enjoy yourselves.